Who is he? A man who was once human but is no longer. A child born from the fire of suffering and rage, yet lost within his own scars. A heart that once beat, now empty of all feeling. There is something burning in his eyes, not love, not hatred, but something far rawer, far deeper. A force that could consume existence itself. Do you know him?
I was once him. I was once human. Everything began with a wound. But isn't that always how it starts? Life moves through wounds, through cracks, through pain that wraps around your heart like a quiet serpent and crushes it. But what doesn't kill you doesn't make you stronger. No, it only changes you. It turns you into something else. I changed. I was once that child, the one whose soft hands couldn't hold the weight of the world. My heart was too tender, too eager to beat for others, too willing to bleed for those who never looked back. My voice was not loud enough to rise above the chaos. I was small. I was fragile, and in this world, the fragile do not survive. I did not survive. They broke me, but the world is merciless. When it breaks something, it scatters the pieces into the wind, hoping no one will ever gather them again. But I found my pieces. I put them back together, but not as they were before. No, this time, I did not hide my scars. This time my scars became my weapons, and now I stand here. But I no longer know what I am. A man. No, men fear. Men are weak. Men break. Me.
But what is broken does not always disappear. Sometimes, from the depths of ruin, something else is born. Something that cannot be controlled, something that cannot be contained. Is he still the man you once knew? Or has something else taken shape within him? Something no longer human, no longer a shadow of what he once was.
I was born from my own ashes. There was a time when I still tried to remain human, when I still held on to hope, when I still looked at the world and thought that maybe, just maybe, there was a place for me in it. But the world devours anything that is weak. I was born to lose. I learned that with every blow I took, with every betrayal I endured, with every hand I reached for that never reached back. But the world has a simple rule. Either you are consumed, or you become the predator. So I decided I would never be prey again. I remember that night, the night everything changed. The silence that stretched over me after the last scream had faded, when nothing was left, when there were no more tears to shed. That was when I looked deep inside myself and found something I had never known. It wasn't rage, it wasn't hatred. No, it was something deeper. Something for which I had no name. A void, endless and alive, pulsing like a heart that had never been allowed to beat freely. It had always been there, hidden within me, waiting to be acknowledged. And that night, it called to me. It told me to rise. It told me to become what I had always feared. And for the first time, I listened. Change is never immediate. It takes time. But step by step, I shed my old skin. I stopped trying to please. I stopped needing to be understood. I stopped feeling the need to explain myself. The man I once was no longer existed, and what remained was something else. Something raw, something powerful, something ruthless. They do not recognize me anymore. I see it in their eyes, the fear they try to hide behind their masks. They know I have changed, but they only see the surface. They see the power, but they do not understand what has taken root inside me. I am now a shadow, not a man, not a victim. but something that has risen from pain itself, and there is no turning back. I'm no longer afraid. Do you know when I realized it? When I finally looked into their eyes. The ones who always stood above me, the ones who broke me, the ones who saw me as something insignificant, unworthy, forgotten. Once, looking at them burned me from the inside. Once, fear rooted me in place, but not anymore, because I saw it, the fear in their eyes. They don't recognize me. They search for the broken man they once knew, but what stands before them is something else entirely. They only see the surface. They see the power, but they will never comprehend the depths of what has taken root inside me. They will never understand the void that now calls me home. There is no more rage, no more pain, only a single undeniable truth. In this world, only power matters. That day, when I stood before them, I did not think of revenge. I did not think of the past. I only thought of one thing: nothing, no one, could ever stop me again. I no longer carry my scars as burdens. They shaped me, but they do not weigh me down. They do not kill me. They do not break me. Instead, each wound has become armor. Armor no blade can pierce. They want to understand what changed within me, why I no longer tremble, why I do not bend, why I do not scream. They think I have become emotionless. Perhaps they are right, but does it matter? I was once a man who understood others, who fought for them, who wept for them. But that man is dead, buried beneath the ruins of his failures. And from those ruins, something rose. Something that no longer needs to cry, that no longer craves validation, love, or mercy. Something with only one purpose: survival. Survival is no longer a choice. It is a necessity, and I will not lose. Do you know why? Because there is no weakness left in me. Power comes at a price. Anyone who seeks it must pay something in return, and I have paid in full. Every moment I spent in darkness, every wound etched into my flesh, every tear that fell unseen, all were sacrifices made to bring me here. I left my past behind, not because I wanted to, but because I had no other choice. The world left me no choice. In this world, you are either the hunter or the prey. There is no in-between. There is no place for weakness. I have learned how to feed on pain, on wounds, on betrayal. No one can bring me to my knees anymore. Those who once sought to break me now cower before what they have created. I see it in their eyes. They try to understand, try to convince themselves that the man they once knew still lingers inside me. But they are wrong. I am a shadow born from fire. Nothing can steer me from my path. No voice, no plea, no emotion can stop me now. This is who I am. This is what has always been inside me. Something that can no longer be ignored. Something that no one can suppress. So let them fear me. Let them realize that there is no turning back anymore. Everything is born from darkness, from wounds, from failures, from everything that once seemed like collapse. But falling is not always the end. Sometimes falling is just the beginning of rising. Not a return to what was. Not a step back into the past, but a rebirth. A rebirth forged in shadow, in fire that refuses to die, in a force that nothing can stop. I embraced that fall. I remember the moments when I was alone, when no light remained, when there was no voice left to call my name. The days when I waited, when every fresh wound shaped me, when every betrayal taught me more. And in the end, it wasn't just understanding that I gained. It was power. I did not change. I was remade. The world does not seek survivors. It seeks conquerors. It seeks those who rise from the ashes and face it with eyes that no longer hold fear. When I walked forward again, I was no longer human, no longer the man who clung to others, who fought for them, who held on to hope. Hope has no place in my world. Only truth remains, and the truth is this: power is above all else. I looked at them, the same ones who once belittled me, the ones who once pitied me, the ones who believed I would never become anything. But now they look at me, not with arrogance, not with superiority, but with a fear they cannot hide. Let them see. Let them understand that there is no turning back. Let them realize that what they created is no longer in their hands. They broke me, but in breaking me, they gave rise to something they never expected. Is this what they wanted? Perhaps not, but it does not matter. Destiny is not pre-written. Destiny is made, and now I am the one who shapes mine. Power has only one meaning: control. And now control belongs to me. No longer am I anyone's pawn. No longer do chains bind me. No longer do I fight for things that were never mine to begin with. I wear a crown, but not one of gold. Not one adorned with jewels. My crown is made of shadows, made of the silence that bore me, made of the force that no one can take from me. They want to know if I still feel, if something of that old man still lingers inside me. Perhaps, but that man no longer rules this body. That man has been buried beneath my footsteps. All that remains is something that does not tremble, something that does not break, something that does not fear. And that is what the world must now accept. Let them know, let them understand that I stand here, and nothing will ever bring me down again.